Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. You know, it's just so funny how different everything seems during an election and after an election, right? They're two entirely different things, even from a simple political perspective, especially within the world of corporate establishment politics. There's the rhetoric and policy proposals that are made during the election season, and then of course there's the betrayal that usually follows after they've claimed their seat of power. And so I guess it's, in a way, real versus fake. During the election, all the fake BS comes out, and then after the election is when the truth starts to kick in, And this is especially true when you lose. And that's what's so interesting about witnessing the fallout. All of a sudden, the truth is coming out. It's a really interesting concept, I gotta say. It's just funny how the moment the election's over, all of a sudden, the rhetoric has shifted so dramatically. I guess Donald Trump wasn't literally Hitler after all. Let me show you guys exactly what's going on. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. All right, folks, so I got a bunch of clips that I want to show you guys, but I really want to lead with this Bill Maher clip. I'm not sure if I'm going to use this clip for the thumbnail, but anyways, it doesn't really matter which one we start with. Just take a look at this moment right over here.
Boy, if I look at the big picture, it doesn't look good. So I'm going to work on this line.
Right.
I'm going to read this book.
Right.
I'm going to talk to this friend and keep it small.
And the truth is, you're probably going to be able to keep doing that.
God willing.
No matter what's going on out there in the world. Of course, the worst things could happen. Trump could get into office and blow up the world on day one. But, you know, I'm not going through the same spilkus I did last time.
Really?
Yeah. Like, when it happens, wake me, but I'm not giving my mind over to it again. And I'll see what happens. And one thing I've learned about the future is that we're very bad about predicting it. And whatever you think is probably likely to happen probably isn't going to happen.
Don't you find that a little rich? Donald Trump wins the presidency, and now we got Bill Maher saying, everything's gonna be fine. Kind of interesting, considering before the election, this is what Bill Maher was saying.
These are the dictator countries. There's a very World War II feeling here. When the dictator countries are getting together, I mean, in World War II, what did Hitler and the Japanese have in common? Nothing, except they saw the world one way. Fascism. They all have to do it in their different way. Iran is a fascist country in their own way. So is China, so is Russia, Saudi Arabia, you could say also. Somehow, the world seems to be dividing between the good guy countries, the democratic countries, and these autocracies. And if your guy gets in, we're going to be on the wrong side of this one. In some ways, he is Hitler-like. I'm sorry, but that's just true. Not Hitler, but
his voters, just because someone voted for
he
someone...
says he likes their generals. You know, I mean, that's Hitler-like. I wish I had his general.
So we went from, we're on the side of fascism if Donald Trump wins, and Trump's gonna start siding with all of these autocratic fascist nations. We went from, well, Trump is Hitler-like, he's basically Hitler, to, everything's gonna be fine. Don't you just find that mind-blowing? Because I certainly do. Frankly, I just think it shows the level of dishonesty of a particular side here. It shows how willing during an election season these people are to say whatever has to be said to attain power. That's what it really comes down to. And this level of dishonesty, I think, is unique to one particular side. You just don't see the same thing on the right. The level that Democrats took political rhetoric to over the last 8 years has been almost unbelievable. And that's probably what's creating this effect here, this shock from my end, because nonstop, every day it's been, Donald Trump is literally Hitler, fascist, lose our democracy, lose our rights, the right-wing MAGA mob. They're violent extremists who engaged in insurrection. That's all we've heard over and over again, every day, every week, every month, every year, for 8 years straight. And now all of a sudden it's, oh, well, things will be just fine under Donald Trump. That's insane. That is completely insane. And of course, it's not just with Donald Trump. It's also with Trump voters. I've noticed a significant shift there as well. You know, Donald Trump is for sure the most demonized politician in modern American history. And of course, that has a downstream effect, making Trump voters, the Trump base, the Trump supporters, probably the most demonized political group in modern American history. And that's another place where we saw the exact same thing, you know? The MAGA voter was the greatest threat to the homeland, right? That's what they said. Trump voters, many of you, over the last 8 years have been categorized and described as violent, racist, bigoted, extremist, far-right, supporting a fascist, in a cult. They called Larry Elder the blackface of white supremacy. I mean, let's really put it into perspective. But now we've got prominent leftists like Cenk Uygur coming out and saying stuff like this.
On the right, you guys do a great job of coalescing, okay? So you do a couple of things well. You work together well, and you're more welcoming, if I'm being honest. And a lot of people on the left know this as well. If you agree with MAGA 5%, the answer you get is welcome, right? Come join us, right? On the left, if you disagree 5%, they go, get out of here, you're a right-winger, you're a fascist. Look, I propose simple rules, the 3 rules of the internet. Rule number 1, when we disagree, we fight. There's nothing wrong with that, right? No, rule number 2 is afterwards we must have a beer together, okay? And rule number 3 is, for God's sake, when we agree, let's unite. For the left, we have too much division. We almost never unify. I don't mean with the right, I mean internally. The left loves to attack one another. I love you guys on the left, I love you. But every once in a while, when we get a yes, when we agree, can we please unite? And the second thing we need is for the old, I'm being honest, and on average, not everyone, of course, but for the older Democratic voters, please turn off your television sets. They're lying to you, they're tricking you, they're trying to get you to vote for corruption, they're trying to get you to vote for policies you don't even want. So if we can do those 2 things, then we'll be in great shape.
Now, of course, I want to give Cenk some credit. I think it really is a genuine wake-up call for him. I think he's actually come to this realization, but either way, I find it fits the point of this video perfectly. Just how much things have changed, because before the election, Trump voters were a threat. Donald Trump was a monster. And that's the kind of rhetoric that Cenk is always engaged in. And actually where Cenk debuted this new talking point was on the Patrick Bet-David podcast, where the title of that video was "The MAGA base has changed." That's what Cenk Uygur claimed. But has the MAGA base really changed? I don't think so. I think it's quite the opposite. I think what's happening is the left-wingers have realized that their BS no longer stands, and obviously it didn't work so well and it backfired spectacularly, and so now they're doing a 180. Now all of a sudden Donald Trump ain't that bad. Now all of a sudden the MAGA base is welcoming. Oh, they're nice people. All of a sudden Donald Trump's no longer Hitler. He's no longer a monster. No, he's just another president. We have not changed. The MAGA movement, Donald Trump, hasn't changed. But what has happened is I think the left has seen the writing on the wall. And you know, I'd love to give them credit as if they've seen the light, and what's really happening is that these leftist figures are coming to this great revelation that they've been wrong, but I'm not so sure it goes that far. It feels more like a convenient political pivot. They seem to be playing nice for the camera now. You know, I guess kind of the point of the whole video, I guess we'll have to see exactly where the rhetoric goes once the next election season is right around the corner. You know, I guess let's be careful giving too much praise to some of these leftists who are now claiming to have seen the error of their ways. Let's be patient here and see exactly where the rhetoric goes moving into the next election. And let's not forget that these people claiming they've come to this great revelation are the same people who have engaged in some of the most egregious behavior I think I've ever witnessed in the modern political arena. Be careful, these might simply be acts of self-preservation in the current moment, because if the political winds shift, well, we might very quickly be right back where we started. Let's not forget all the lies, all the phony narratives, the coup attempts, the impeachments, the investigations, the censorship campaigns. Let's not forget that these people currently playing nice are the exact same people who prop that entire system up. And that's it. That's just what's on my mind. Anyways, hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.